What's up, guys? So, I'm doing a video about, first of all, I do believe in astrology and numerology. Big time. Big time. I'm one of those folks that, just because it's not 100% proven science, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have more than 60, 70%, right, of truthful, right? Just because people claim that they know what astrology and numerology is, and when they get it wrong and people get disappointed, they say like, man, see, this is all fake. This is all a scam. Like, not necessarily. They might be the people who are claiming that they know all the answers, right? Or the people who claim that the reading was going to go this way. But you need to understand that this is why it's so important to understand that astrology, numerology, I will not call it science, right? I will call it kind of like a spiritual hidden knowledge that is just only revealed not every time, but every moment it's like renewing in itself, right? Because numbers change, right? You know, we have a watch, 11, 9, 10, 12 seconds, right? So everything's just like in continuous flow. So it's alive, right? So anything can happen, but that doesn't mean that you cannot kind of predict certain things, right? Not 100%, but these days, what is 100% truthful, right? So female nature supersedes astrology, numerology. So I've been listening and reading a lot of books, right? And saying like, how can you choose your partner based on compatibility, numerology and astrology combined, right? Western, Asian, Eastern, and numerology, right, in itself. So there's one thing that females will always respond: black, white, brown, yellow, it doesn't fucking matter, right? They have one thing in common. They are only committed, well, not committed. Let me take that back. It's not committed. They're held accountable for their own emotions, right? So you cannot judge or blame a woman for what they do because they cannot help it, right? It's just like a fish in water. They cannot help it be out of the water. They'll die. So female nature supersedes numerology and astrology, okay? Because even myself, if I try to find a woman who's a virgin, not being touched by nobody, right? Somewhere, right? I find it, right? Overseas or whatever. And she has all this alignment on her chart, right? I hire the best of astrologists and numerologists, and then I'm just so comfortable in saying like, okay, my wife, my girl is going to be loyal to me, right? And that's absolutely not true. Man, I don't even wish it was wrong or it was the other way around, because that will bring me back into a victim mentality, and it will bring me to like simping, try to expect something that is not real, right? I've learned in life that I respect more when I know something, the nature of something, without trying to change it, right? And I got to the point that it feels very good when you see something of what it is, for what it is, right? It doesn't mean that you have a children, you have a baby, you have your son, your daughter, and you see it, okay, you're just only my son and your daughter. I'm not talking in that context, all right? I'm talking in the matter of the nature of things, okay? Your son, if he's a boy or a girl, they have female or male nature, okay? Then whatever you influence on them in that environment, they will grow up knowing that their parents showed them certain things. But at the end of the day, it's only them who are going to be exposed to the information that they decide to embrace or go through, right? Through their decisions. And sometimes just because of life throws you things back at you, right? Because the pendulum, right? And more things. But we're not gonna talk about that. What I'm talking about, it's the female nature supersedes astrology and numerology. Okay? This is the word that females, that women will use. I shouldn't done this. You guys know what I'm talking about. We heard it every time. I shouldn't done this. I shouldn't done this, right? And the catch is that they really mean it though. They're not lying, right? If they're talking to you right now at that time, they really are not lying, because you know, there are the victim. I might say that word. They're victims of their emotions, of the female nature emotions. Okay. So they might done degrading stuff before you met them, right? I shouldn't done this. I shouldn't done this, right? And for you as a man to expect, right, that your wife, that your girl is never gonna fall into that temptation or to that thought and decide to do that again or a different thing, it's foolish, okay? Female nature is and will always be an emotion roller coaster, all right? That goes up and down, left and right, circles, squares, triangles, everywhere, okay? Your responsibility as a man is just to know that female nature is what it does best, okay? And when a woman is expressing her thoughts, you just need to listen and sometimes not respond to anything, right? Because when you know, all right, 99.9%, 100%, that the female nature cannot be held accountable for her emotions, because that's what she is, right? She just bones and flesh with dark and light emotions. A combined dark, light is just murky, man, right? That's how it is with female nature. That's why I will say it again. Female nature supersedes astrology and numerology, right? You might say, I have this woman, her astrology sign is this and this, and the numerologist told me that she's gonna be loyal for the rest of my life. You wanna believe that? Go ahead, okay? Go ahead. I'm not here to correct nobody. I'm here to share my opinion, and more than opinion, knowledge. Female nature supersedes everything, okay? That's why I don't believe that you have to have status to keep a woman. You might need status to attract women, all right? Attraction is not even 50% of real, intimate connection with a woman, okay? It's not. You can fool a woman by lying that you have money, right? And just wearing something new. You know, it depends the age of the woman. If she's being run through, she gets her experience, so it's harder to fool her, but you still can, right? But going back to the topic, right, to the main purpose of this video, is that female nature cannot be solved, okay, by astrology or numerology. It cannot. Or any pill, okay, or religion or God. It cannot. And a man can only succeed mentally and have stability mentally. Fuck physical stability with vehicles and real estate and all that. That's a different thing. Women don't care about that. They might think they do, but they fucking don't. Period. They don't, right? I've been doing a lot of exercise with random women in apps, bars, whatever, Facebook, whatever I meet them, right? And I have the opportunity to meet up, and they have something in common: any race, color, and age, right? I shouldn't done this. I shouldn't got to the sex club and had sex with random dudes, threesomes and orgies and all that crazy stuff. I shouldn't had sex with 10 men in the same day. I shouldn't done this. they're full of I shouldn't, okay? And that's a tactic they don't even know they're using. And men, we as men are very quick, right, to forgive that because they're like, I shouldn't done that. Like she's showing remorse, right? And she is, right? But at that moment, because her emotions at that moment that she's saying it, right? The pendulum, it's on the other side. Okay. Once she starts feeling those emotions again, those past experiences come back to her. Okay. So this is why I tell men, never be committed to women. Okay. You can tell them, I love you, baby. I'm here for you. You can give them presents. You can do all that. But to be committed, you cannot do that. People say, what is to be committed? To be committed is to know that you can never be and never be with another person rather than her and only her. I don't care if you have 10, 30 children with her. You cannot be committed to her, okay? That doesn't mean you don't take care of her. You do. This is what I learned, that a few people get it, a few pickup artists, when I look at them, a few books that I read, that female nature, it's a beautiful thing actually, right? Right. So anything that in its nature has dark side, okay? Has a dark side. And that, to know that, it's the greatest successful experience that you can possess through your life, and you can pass it on to your children, especially if they're boys and girls too, right? This is why I tell myself on a daily basis that a female nature supersedes everything, okay? Supersedes everything. Even though you will lock her on the basement, she will be in another part of the country where they still kill women, right? When they lose their virginity before time, all that. If you give that same woman who's covered everything, including the eyes, you can't see nothing but a black cape on her completely. If you leave her alone, you give her enough time, she will do the same thing that the other women are doing on the Western Hemisphere, on the other side, right? Why? Because God, not even God, is as much as powerful as female nature. It cannot. It's already done. Okay? And as a man, don't be hateful, bitter. Okay? When your girl, your wife, your girlfriend tells you, or your mother, I was unfaithful to your father, or your sister, hey brother, you know what, I'm cheating on my boyfriend, you don't get shocked by that. Like, we're expecting all that. Okay? So the only responsibility as a man is that because you haven't been committed to her, you don't feel bad when that happens. This is what I've learned. Okay? And this is when men, I'm committed to my girl. And this is when they feel, right, crushed, right, to the point that they will lose their lives. They will make a wrong choice and they will lose their life because they were committed to this woman, all right? And they didn't know better, or they ignore that female nature supersedes marriage, supersedes astrology and numerology. Female nature supersedes even God laws. It doesn't matter, okay? And as a man, you should be happy when you get to know this information, because you can carry this every corner of the world and you will not be shocked. Matter of fact, you will feel not gratitude, but it's kind of like ecstasy, bliss, extraordinary happiness to know this, because now you just cannot just blame women for what they are, because they cannot help it, right? And you will not fool yourself if you get to find a woman who has everything aligned in her astrology chart. In numerology, she has the best numbers based on numerology and astrology, that she's not disloyal or a cheater, right? Okay? You take it in consideration, but you don't ignore the fact that female nature supersedes all of it. All of it. And this should make you stronger, more attractive, because you know this. And when you encounter a woman, you don't have this sarcastic satire, whatever you pronounce it, aura, right? Cynical. You just allow the woman to be, right? Including if she's your wife, right? And girlfriend. You just allow her, right? But there's a catch with this, that even though it's your wife or your girl, don't think that she'll be quick to cheat when you have demonstrated that you're not committed to her. There's something that does on your girl, something turns on, that they delay that cheating thing. They delay and kind of ignore that feeling of cheating. Why? Because you have demonstrated that you're not committed to her. And that's when you create polarity and you work with the pendulum. Once you're committed to your girl, you're hit by the pendulum. When you're not committed to your wife, to your girlfriend, to the mother of your kids, the pendulum might hit you, matter of time. But you might feel a little tap on your shoulder. Very different from people who committed. They will feel like they're being run over by a truck. And that makes the difference. Peace.